Good morning. It is Thursday, September 26th, and this is a special edition of Michigan Mornings. I'm Matthew Handley. Thanks for joining me. Today is the memorial of Saints Cosmas and Damien, and today on the program we're going to share a little bit of inspiration for you with the two readings from the Office of Readings. This first comes from the book of the prophet Ezekiel. Thus the word of the Lord came to me. Now, son of man, take a single stick and write on it, Judah and those Israelites who are associated with him. Then take another stick and write on it, Joseph, the stick of Ephraim, and all the house of Israel associated with him. Then join the two sticks together so that they form one stick in your hand. When your countrymen ask you, will you not tell us what you mean by all this? Answer them, thus says the Lord God, I will take the stick of Joseph which is in the hand of Ephraim, and the tribes of Israel associated with him, and I will join it to the stick of Judah, thus making a single stick. They shall be one in my hand. The sticks on which you write shall hold up before them to see. Tell them, thus says the Lord God, I will take the Israelites from among the nations to which they have come, and gather them from all sides to bring them back to their land. I will make them one nation upon the land, in the mountains of Israel, and there shall be one prince for them all. Never again shall they be two nations, and never again shall they be divided into two kingdoms. No longer shall they defile themselves with their idols, their abominations, and all their transgressions. I will deliver them from all their sins of apostasy, and cleanse them, so that they may be my people, and I may be their God. My servant David shall be prince over them, and there shall be one shepherd for them all. They shall live by my statutes, and carefully observe my decrees. They shall live on the land which I gave to my servant Jacob, the land where their fathers live. They shall live on it forever, they and their children and their children's children, with my servant David, their prince, forever. I will make with them a covenant of peace. It shall be an everlasting covenant with them, and I will multiply them and put my sanctuary among them forever. My dwelling shall be with them. I will be their God, and they shall be my people. Thus the nations shall know that it is I, the Lord, who makes Israel holy, when my sanctuary shall be set up among them forever. That's from chapter 37, verses 15 to 28 of the book of the prophet Ezekiel. That is the first reading in today's Office of Readings on the 25th Thursday in Ordinary Time. Coming up after the break, we'll be sharing a sermon from St. Augustine on the martyr's death that was brought by the death of Christ, and it's precious in his sight. That's the second reading for today's memorial of Saints Cosmas and Damien. Thanks for joining me on this special edition of Michigan Mornings on a Thursday. I'm Matthew Handley. We'll be right back after this. Welcome back to a special edition of Michigan Mornings on this September 26th, Thursday. Today's the memorial of Saints Cosmas and Damien. According to ancient documents, the tomb of Saints Cosmas and Damien is in Cyrus in Syria. There's a basilica built there in their honor, and devotion to these martyrs spread to Rome and from there to the whole church. This is the second reading from today's Office of Readings, and it's a sermon by St. Augustine. In the glorious deeds of the holy martyrs who everywhere adorn the church, we verify the truth of what we have been singing. Precious in the sight of the Lord is the death of his saints. They are precious in our sight and in the sight of him, whose name it was done. The price paid for these deaths was the death of one man. How many deaths indeed this one man bought by dying? For if he had not died, the grain of wheat would not have been multiplied. You have heard what he said when he drew near to his passion, our redemption. If the grain of wheat does not fall to the ground and die, it remains barren. But if it dies, it will be very fruitful. On the cross, Christ effected a great exchange. There the purse containing the price to be paid for us was opened. When the soldier's lance cut its way into his side, the price paid for the whole world flowed forth. The martyrs and all the faithful were bought with it, and the faith of the martyrs was also tested. Their blood bore witness to their faith. They gave back what they had been paid for them and lived up to what St. John says, as Christ laid down his life for us, so we should lay down our lives for our brothers. Elsewhere we read, "You have taken your seat at the great table. Consider carefully what is set before you, for you must prepare the same in return." The great table is the one at which the Lord of the banquet is himself the food. No one feeds the guests with his very self, yet that is what Christ the Lord does. He invites, and he is the food and drink. The martyrs took careful note of what they ate and drank so that they might return the same. But how could they return the same unless the one who had first given it gave them also the means of making a return? "What shall I give back to the Lord for all that he has given me? I shall take the cup of salvation." What cup is that? The bitter and saving cup of suffering, the cup the sick man would be afraid to put to his lips unless the doctor had drunk of it first. That is the cup meant here, and we find Christ himself speaking of it. "Father, if possible, let this cup pass away from me." Of it the martyr said, "I shall take the cup of salvation and call upon the name of the Lord." Are you not afraid that you may fail the test? But why should you be? "I shall call upon the name of the Lord." How else did the martyrs overcome, except that in them he overcome who said, "Rejoice, for I have overcome the world." The Lord of heaven directed their minds and their tongues. Through them he overcame the devil on earth and crowned them as martyrs in heaven. Happy are they who have thus drunk of this cup, for their suffering is over, and they have received their honors. Again, that's a sermon by St. Augustine on the martyrs on this memorial of Saints Cosmas and Damien. I'm Matthew Handley. Thanks for joining me on this special edition of Michigan Mornings. More inspiring and engaging Catholic Talk Radio is coming up on Ave Maria Radio, and Lord willing, I'll talk to you again tomorrow. Until then, goodbye.